let me start over. So, welcome to my photography shopping live stream where we talk about photography, do a little shopping, and catch up, see how everybody's doing. And as I was saying before, I did do some birding earlier this weekend, and I'll share some of those pictures. And good to see you, Zoltan. And I see Robert's here. Thank you for the text. Darko, Anthony, everybody, thank you so much. I can't believe I turned the mic off. So, anyhow, I was going through these deals. I found a couple of really good deals. So let me go back to that page. And what I was saying is this Godox trigger, this is for the Nikon cameras, and it has a legacy mode, so it'll work really with any camera. But if you have a Nikon camera, you get high-speed sync and TTL, and this trigger never goes on sale. Uh, and there's other distributors selling this still at full price at 89. I paid $89 for mine. And I've been thinking about maybe getting this for myself just to have one for my Nikon cameras. Because there's really only two caveats, really. If you're buying this trigger and you have multiple cameras and you want to use it, say, on your Canon or Olympus camera, uh, like I said, you won't have high-speed sync or TTL, but sometimes the trigger will go to sleep because it doesn't realize it's on the camera. So you have to use it in legacy mode and turn off the sleep, and then it'll be fine. So if you want to get a Godox trigger or you're thinking about getting in the Godox system, now is the time to buy the trigger, whether you have a flash or not for it yet, because you're going to pay $89 for this later. It's very rare that this goes on sale. So I highly recommend this trigger. If you want to ever do any flash photography, you need to have this trigger uh, to use the camera off, use the flash off camera. Okay, and then the other deal I found, I was talking about this bag here. This is a very high quality sort of crossbody bag and fanny pack. The canvas one is $10 more if you don't like that blue color. I mean, I don't worry about the color too much, but 20 bucks. And this bag is like, the blue ones are cheap, but it's the same bag and very, very high quality, very good canvas material here, excellent stitching, cross stitching all the way around, and straps and pockets. And this is good for like your OM3 in pen cameras. I wouldn't put like an A7R5 or something in here, but you could put like an A7C, A7C2 with like one or two lenses, maybe small ones, right? Definitely a micro four thirds camera with a couple lenses and batteries, lots of little pockets, and a little strap here on the bottom to carry maybe a tabletop tripod or very small travel tripod. Uh, so yeah, it's 20 bucks. It's a good deal. And then let's see. Here, this I was talking about this bag here, $7.47. Okay. Uh, this is a super cheap uh messenger bag style. Again, this will hold more than the previous bag I showed you. It costs less, but it's not going to be as durable. It has the common snaps on the front, and the styling is questionable in my opinion, but if that doesn't bother you, uh, this will hold like larger cameras. Like I could put my A7R5 and a lens and a few batteries. And I'm sorry, one second. Um, things like that. And you could also use this as a camera bag insert, right? Like in your backpack. So just stuff this in your backpack. If you don't have already a camera backpack, but you have a regular backpack, you could put this inside that to keep your gear. So this is a cheaper than buying, say, camera bag inserts separately. You can just buy this because it has the padding and dividers already. Just take the strap off. It's just clips on the side there, right? But, it's a simple canvas bag. It looks like it has some good rigidity, and, I like the feet on the bottom, the mesh pockets on the side for just holding loose items, and a little pocket in the front and in the, top here. It does zipper completely closed, which is good, so stuff is not gonna fall out once you have it all zippered up. And this is the kind of bag you kinda keep maybe your second camera body in the trunk of your car, and you only pull it out if you need to, if you need the backup. I mean, $7.47 is I pay more for a Happy Meal, and has some utility to it and something you'll keep a long time, for that purpose. You could use it as an everyday bag, but it might not it'll probably only last a year if you're using it every day, uh, and then you just throw it away, right? It was only 7 bucks, so okay, let's see. I did find one other bag. Yeah, let me pull up this bag I have in my shopping cart. So this bag with this 30% coupon, I put in my shopping cart to see how it would look. It comes out to $34 for a Mosisu, which is a very good brand as far as generic brands go. This is a good brand. Good canvas material, good cross stitching, plenty of straps, plenty of pockets, plenty of dividers. This is a great little backpack for $34. Uh, if you're not a backpack person and you're only going to use it once in a while, $34. This is a great option to have on the side. So you can see the dimensions here. It's not very thick. So again, it's perfect for our Micro Four Thirds cameras and most mirrorless cameras. It will fit in here just fine because canvas is kind of flexible. Good pockets, pretty good design overall in terms of what you can carry in there. So we have the bottom compartment is for the camera gear, and then the upper compartment is just for any other type of stuff, like they put some clothes in there. But what I like to do is I like to put dividers or maybe a small fanny pack in there that I can carry. So what I do is I put my fanny pack in the top part, and then when I get on site and start to go out walking around, I'll take the fanny pack out, have a couple lenses in there, and put those around the front, so I don't have to take the backpack off every time I wanna swap lenses or put a filter on or change a battery. I can just, do it right from the fanny pack that I keep in the top here. So, the handle, like I said, good cross stitching. Looks like a decent this is not gonna be the thickest canvas material, but decent canvas material like blue jeans or something, right? And, it's gonna be comfortable because you're not gonna put a ton of stuff in here, unlike what they show in here. I wouldn't put a ton of stuff in here, but, $34, again, this is the bag you keep for 2 or 3 years, and when it wears out, you throw it away. But if you don't use a backpack much, this'll last you years and years, probably 10 years, right? I mean, n there's, I don't see anything wrong with this bag. Uh So definitely, this is definitely $34. This is a good deal, but you have to click this coupon here. Okay, so make sure you do that. All right. Okay, stuff that are not bags. Um, let me give me a second. I need to arrange my screens here. Okay. There's another bag here in the $20 range. This is a decent bag. I'll just show this before I go. You can get a beige color for a dollar less. 20 bucks, this is a decent bag. Nice dividers, lots of pockets, and a few other design elements like the strap on the back for carrying it, adjustable strap for your shoulder, and a buckle front pockets. So this is a nice bag. Nice bag for 20 bucks. Good size. This will hold. easily hold like the larger mirrorless cameras, even a smaller DSLR, but something like your A7R5s, your OM1s, uh, and then anything smaller plus a few lenses. This has plenty of options to carry things. You know, lots of dividers. I like this stepping level divider that they've included, as you can see. So you can put, especially micro four thirds, you can like I could see myself putting the 60 macro on top, and then on the bottom my 12 to 40 Pro, and then my OM1 with say the 17 millimeter on one side, then on the left side, uh, putting my Godox V1 flash and a couple of batteries and a trigger. So this will hold a lot of stuff for 20 bucks. And then you got the front pockets for, you know, filters and things like that. So this is a great everyday bag. It looks to be very well made and 20 bucks. And it doesn't have a brand on it, so well, it does. Taoka. Sounds Japanese. But again, this is the kind of bag you use 2, 3 years as an everyday bag, and if it wears out, you get another one, or if you don't use it every day, it'll last you, you know, forever, basically, right? But I really like the divider system and the pockets that it has, and the styling to me is very conservative, but it still has a little bit of flair, right? I'm not sharing the screen. I'm just messing. So this is the bag I'm talking about, and I was showing the dividers here. Man, I just suck at live streams. I was talking about this divider here, about stacking lenses, the 60 macro, the 12 to 40 Pro, my OM1 with the 17 and a V1 flash. That'll all fit in this bag, no problem. The front pockets will hold whatchamacallit, the filters and batteries and things like that. This is a nice bag. Okay. Uh let's see. And then a couple of, let me just hit a couple other things. The filters, these are good deals, but this is a weird size for us, right? Micro Four Thirds shooters. Not too many of our lenses have 77 millimeter filter threads, but I think like the Canon, Nikon, Sony world, this may be a little more common because the lenses are huge. But here's one that will fit our 12 to 40 Pro. Uh, and it's a nice set. You get the ND one, you know, it's an ND filter set, and it's a solid ND filter set. So, and it's stackable. So this is great for long exposure photography. There's some lighting here on sale. If you need LED lighting, these are good deals. I like this one by Colbar a little better than the newer. It's $10 more though. But let me explain. I like this one better because you can power it via USB-C power banks if you want to. And then of course it has its battery, but well, does it have a battery? Yeah, Type C charging. I didn't look. Okay, this does not have a battery. So you have to power this, but you can power it with a USB-C power bank versus the one made by Newer. It's $10 less, but you have to use the power brick. Or if you have a D-tap that supplies 20 watt or 20 volts, you could do it that way. But this one requires the power adapter. So this is like studio use only. This would be great for like product photography, and it's just enough power to do tabletop, flat lay, that type of photography. Either this one or the cold bar. I like the cold bar a little better because of the USB-C option. But if that doesn't matter, you can get this one, and they both have the Bowens mount. Uh, this is an interesting, you know, I noticed, so this is like on my XH2 camera, Fuji. Even though I have the USB-C plugged in, it does not charge the battery and run the camera at the same time. So I've noticed that my battery goes dead. Uh, if I leave the camera on, even though it's plugged into USB-C. I don't know why. So if you guys are experiencing issues with using USB-C on your Fuji cameras, just get a dummy battery, problem solved. Uh, now this does require to be, excuse me, this does require to be plugged into the wall. It's not a USB-C type dummy battery. But in a studio situation, this makes a lot of sense. You don't have to uh, worry about your camera dying in the middle of a production, whatever you're doing. And it's on sale for $11.49. I'm thinking about getting this because I do use my Fuji for uh, in the studio here for recording videos. Okay. Um, all right. Now there are a couple of tripods on sale that are a really good deal. So this one here is $30. Okay. Now the twist locks here are plastic, not a big deal, but the legs, the foot here and everything is all metal. It also has a monopod option, which is really nice. And you know, it comes with a phone holder. I don't care about that. It's a travel tripod. And let's see, it collapses down. Did I tell you here? It collapses down to 22 inches, so it's pretty small. And it goes up to 76 inches with the top part extended. Let's see if they show the base, though. Height range 22 to 76. It weighs 1.5 kilos, so that's right on the cusp of what I'd consider lightweight. I don't see anything about the dimensions, but it doesn't matter because this I imagine this extension here is probably about 20 to 24 inches. So it'll get at least 4 feet, if not a little higher. So it'll probably come up to here without extending it, like up to your chest. And then you have to use the center column extended to get it up to eye level, or even slightly above eye level in this case. $30 to get a nice, really truly metal ball head. This is the key difference. You get a metal ball head and you get metal legs. There's so many tripods at this price point that have plastic ball heads, plastic joints everywhere, and they're not going to last. And they're made of this flimsy aluminum, and they're going to break very easily in the field. This will be at least a little more durable and stand up to just regular use. Whereas these other tripods at this price point, you use them a few times, they're going to break. This one is not going to break. This one's going to stay fairly well put together as long as you don't abuse it. It should work pretty well for you and be very stable and hold your camera without drooping and creaking and all of that. There's this one, and then there's also one by K&F. This one, the K&F Concept one. This one has the flip locks. I would rate this as the same quality as the one we just looked at, but this one has the flip locks instead of the twist locks. So if you prefer flip locks, this K&F one is also a very good option. Has a really good 28 millimeter ball head. So again, it's going to hold pretty good weight. Like I could put this with my 300 F4 Pro and my OM1 and not worry about it. So this is a good tripod. This one they do put the dimensions. So this is about almost 4 feet without extending, and then extending up to 64 inches. So this is a little bit smaller, uh, but inherently smaller tripods are a little more stable, right? Just because of physics. But $30, I never seen this tripod this cheap. And I've noticed, speaking of pricing, there seems to be a little tick up starting to happen. Just a little tick up here and there. And this may be the last couple of months where we're going to find deals like this before we start paying a little bit more. I don't know where you're shopping from, but I imagine this is a worldwide kind of thing. So, uh, These are two very cheap tripods, 30 bucks, that I think are pretty decent. And then the last thing, this memory card, I promote these all the time. 20 bucks. See, I've bought three myself when they go on sale. I buy the 256s when they go on sale. They go on sale for about $10 less usually. So I'm not recommending that today. But the 128 gig for 20 bucks. And this is a very high speed card for our OM system cameras. Really, any mirrorless or camera that takes uh, SD cards, you're going to see a dramatic improvement in performance with this card. You know, aside from doing video, you can do most 4K video 60p no problem. But if you have an 8K camera or something, you want to get like a CF Express card. Those cameras usually have much higher speed options than SD cards anyway. But for most of us doing photography and general video, this is a great card for 20 bucks. And then I don't think there's, the lenses are still on sale. These are all great deals. These are all great lenses for OM systems. And let's see. See, like this tripod here, this tripod is no better than the $30 ones we just looked at. There's a 30% coupon here. So what's that? About $15 off. So that makes it closer to $40. So this tripod is still $10 more than the other ones, and it's no better than those other ones I just showed you. So I would get the other ones for $30 rather than this one. But this is an excellent deal when the other two aren't on sale. Those other two, it's rare. I've never seen it for $30. Uh, so getting this one for $40 was a very good deal by comparison at the time. But I'm going to leave this here because this is still a good deal. But the other two tripods are better deals right now. Okay, let me go back to the top. If there was anything, here's a good Arca Swiss plate. You know, these are handy. I like the width of it, so you can use this in lieu of a full plate on the bottom. But um, it's always nice to have an Arca Swiss plate in the bag, an extra one. And for $7 now. This is a good plate for $7. And that's it. That's it. I mean, there's other deals on here that you can check out. Uh, a Tiffin polarizer for 20 bucks. That's a good deal. Tiffin is a very, very good brand. They tout this for wide angle, but I would still be wary of using this on a super wide angle. Like, don't use it on a 12 millimeter lens or something. But this is a great filter. And polarizers are sort of, I would say, almost mandatory if you do any kind of photography. I use one all the time. And this and ND filters, these are the two filters I use on a regular basis without hesitation. All right, so let me get to the chat window. That's all I had for today. I think, let me see, let me just double check B&H. I think B&H, yeah, I didn't see, these are good deals, but I didn't see anything that I thought you guys would be interested in as my viewers. I mean, remotely, maybe this tripod, if you need a very steady, strong tripod, load capacity 39 pounds, and it's very tall, 71 inches. That's with the center column extended. Without the center column, it's probably closer to 60, but it's still 5 feet. And Oben is an excellent brand. So you're paying 200 bucks. This is almost half price for very, very high quality tripod. This is the kind of tripod you buy once in a lifetime, right? You buy this once and it'll last you forever. But yeah, 200 bucks. So this is a good deal. I don't have my affiliate link for this, but if you want it, just get it. I'm not worried about the affiliate money all the time. I just wanted to share with you this deal. I thought this was a good deal. Okay, so let me go back to my chat and see what you guys are up to. So yeah, lots of things here on my microphone. Uh, so Gordon, oh wow, you got the OM3 and 300 F4. Oh no, you didn't get it. You were looking at my pictures, but you're going off to the gym. Okay, so yeah, I did want to share a couple of images. Uh, I put them on my Instagram and Flickr. We'll go to Flickr. So again, this is my OM3 and 300 F4 with the teleconverter, the 1.4. And the detail is amazing. This is and all the EXIF data is here. I dropped the shutter speed down so I can keep the ISO as low as possible. But 1/500th of a second ISO 1250. And this is pretty amazing. I don't know what kind of bird this is. I'll have to look it up. But I thought that was a nice shot of that bird. This is a great shot of the osprey. I wasn't able to fill the frame, so this is cropped probably about 30%. But still, I got great detail out of this uh, osprey, and it was heavily black backlit. So subsequent pictures I dialed in +2 exposure comp, but this one was only a +1, so I didn't get quite as much detail as I had hoped because I had to bring the shadows up quite a bit to make this work. But fortunately, I was at a very low ISO, 1/2000th of a second, ISO 400. This is an interesting shot in the sense that I used handheld high-res shot mode to capture it, so just gobs of detail, right? This is a 50 megapixel image handheld. So this is just a technical. This is of interest technically. As a photograph, it's not great. The bird's covered up like almost half, and he's not doing anything. He's just kind of sitting there. But I thought it was a very good example of what can be done handheld high-res shot mode and the OM3 with the 300 f4 and a teleconverter. I mean, everything came together to get this shot on a technical side. Photographically, it's not what Lee Hoy would call a visually compelling image, but I thought it was a nice picture anyway. Here are some bird in flight pictures again. This I'm at 1/2000th of a second, ISO 3200. And this came out good. The camera focused on the female duck down here, so the male duck is just a little bit out of focus. And so this is what I mean. So many people they want that blurry background. So they talk about full frame and the lenses, the telephoto lenses that you can get for those. But in practice, if you want to capture some interesting images, you need some depth of field. And this is where Micro Four Thirds has a huge advantage is you can shoot at very high shutter speeds, lower your ISO, and get everything in focus. And I shot this shot, but it demonstrates exactly what I'm talking about. Even f5.6, which is a full frame equivalent f11 in terms of depth of field, this duck is probably only about less than a foot behind. It's probably not that far behind the female duck. And yet it's out of focus if you look closely versus the female duck. Man, it focused perfectly on the eye here. Okay, this is just a tree swallow I captured. Again, I got pretty lucky there. I used Pro Capture. I missed a really couple of good opportunities because I wasn't. I just missed them. Stupid me. I was changing a setting or something, and then the bird flew off. But I did get this one here. This crow or blackbird was there's a little hole right here if you look closely, and this tree swallow was nesting in here, and this crow is trying to steal the eggs or whatever. So this tree swallow came in to chase them off, and this was an interesting shot. This is heavily cropped. I bet there's only about less than a megapixel of image here. If we look at the dimensions, what is it? Yeah, it's It's about 2.5 megapixels total, but I'd say on the birds themselves, less than a megapixel of data there. And again, this crow actually was fighting off the hawk. So when you put these two pictures together, it's kind of interesting in that the tree swallow is chasing off the blackbird, and in this scene, this blackbird, this looks like a grackle actually, is chasing off the hawk from its nest. And there was actually a whole flock of them chasing this hawk. So it's kind of interesting. But I was able to capture where their wings kind of intertwined like this, which I thought was kind of cool. And then this is heavily cropped again. Not a great shot, but this is a merganser. It wasn't a great day for birding, actually. It was very cloudy, so there wasn't good light. Even this shot here, I had to drop down to 1/250th of a second, and I'm still at ISO 1250. But it turned out to be a good shot. I was able to fill the frame mostly, so I didn't have to crop too heavily. So I got plenty of detail. There's a little bit of motion blur here in the wings because of the slow shutter speed, so I didn't quite get fine detail on the wings, but that's okay. And this shot here, 1/500th of a second again. This is basically bird on a stick, but this bird's just standing there, right? And I got gobs of detail because I was able to fill the frame again with the bird. And then I'll talk about this picture very quickly. This is the OM3 adapted with the Pen F lens, a film camera lens, a 38 millimeter f1.8. So you get this natural flaring and glare, uh, in the lens because these old lenses have no coatings, or if they did, they're long gone and worn off by now. I love the soap bubbly effect that I got from this in the background. Here's another example of a little bit of swirliness and soap bubble effect in the background. Because these vintage lenses, they're just imperfectly beautiful, I think. And there's another one, good example of soap bubble swirly type. Not terribly swirly, but just a touch, right? So that was a lot of fun using a manual focus lens, vintage lens. And that's what I did this weekend. I think what did I do? I did Friday. I thought I did some other stuff. I did do some other stuff. Where are those photos? Oh, the plane spotting. Yeah. So we went down to Gravely Point Park where you can see the airplanes take off. I whipped out the Pentax monochrome for a lot of these shots, but also used the OM3 and Nick collection and converted these to black and white. The only one of note, there's two pictures here. One, this is a 5-shot pano using the Pentax. So again, gobs of detail and just stitched together in Photoshop. And this shot here is the OM3, and I just used the intervalometer to capture the plane as it was taking off. So I set the intervalometer for 1 second, and for about 5 or 10 seconds, it captured these images. And then I just stacked them in Photoshop to make this image. Okay. Oh, you'll be heading to West Texas. Oh, thank you. That was an excellent step. Yeah, Lehoy is pretty awesome. Uh, no, I don't travel much. It'd be nice to go down there, but I can't afford those things. I can barely put gas in my car, let alone travel somewhere like that by plane. And plus, I have Ellie. She's a lot of overhead there, all by herself. And then any new grips for the OM3 available or half cases? No, just the one that I use. I haven't seen anything new. They got the wood handle grips and the half leather case grips that you saw on my camera. That's the one I would recommend. I wish it had an Arca Swiss plate on the bottom though. So, but yeah, there's nothing new that I've seen other than the ones that have already been released. And Marco's here. Hey, Marco, good to see you. Just walked in. Good morning. But let me take a look. Let's take a look at some OM3 grips real quick. Uh, we're gonna have to go to eBay. I have on my watch list some more Pen F lenses, but let's do OM-3. Uh, we'll just see how it comes up here. Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Whoops, that's not eBay. Well, there is a new one here on AliExpress. That looks interesting. And this has the side Arca Swiss too. It's probably double this price if you actually order it because of the tariffs now. This looks like a pretty nice script though. But let's see what they have on eBay because if we can find one on eBay that's sold in the USA, then we don't have to worry about pricing as much. Let's see. This is the wooden one. Yeah, it's getting harder to find these wooden ones. And if they're sold from China or Japan, you got to watch out, man. Tariffs. People are saying that if you buy used stuff, there's no tariff. I don't know. I'm gonna try and order a lens from Japan and see what happens. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything new. Same old, same old. Let's see. Half case. So these are the same ones. I don't like this one as much as the one that I got because there's no grip, right? It's just a half case. That ain't gonna cut it for me. Nope, nope. Nothing new. Here's the one that I bought. I didn't get green. I got the black one. But this is coming from Japan, right? Oh, it's coming from China. So I don't know. There might be a tariff on this when it comes in. But that's the exact one that I got. And I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Uh, so let's go back and just scroll down. Anything else here? Yeah, nothing new, Robert. Okay. Where's my OM3? It's probably still in my bag. Where's my bag? Where's my OM3? Where are my cameras? Huh. I was shooting something yesterday, not birding, but I was doing some macro stuff yesterday, I think. Did I take a picture? I can't remember. I took a picture of something yesterday. I haven't posted it yet. Okay, and Maurice says, just wanted to share with you, I've been using the OM3 for event photography lately, and honestly, it's been a game changer. The battery life is phenomenal. Awesome. So yeah, I got an event coming up next week that I'm going to use my OM3 and this flash. This and my camera better be in this bag. Oh, yeah, it is. All right. So this is the Pentax lens I was or Pen F lens I was telling you about. the 38 millimeter f1.8 on my OM3 that gave that swirly bokeh and uh, you know, this soap bubble bokeh, vintage lens, right? This is why you use vintage lenses sometimes. At least that's why I use them, is to get that sort of vintage look. So I was thinking about trying some monochrome profiles with this and seeing what I can get. But I was going to use this Godox flash with it, right? So you put the camera here, and yeah, this is going to be awesome. I've used this a few times at events, and people always they love it. They love this. They're like, "Oh, take my picture." It just because you're there to take photos. This stupid fan thing is a little finicky sometimes, but once you get it out, it's fine. You just have to be a little careful with this, and then I'll mount it to my camera. Isn't that awesome? That's an awesome looking kit there. Let's see. And I can use that's the that's the one thing the OM3 is missing is a PC sync cable. So I'll have to get a PC sync adapter for the hot shoe. I mean, it doesn't have a PC sync port directly, so I have to get a hot shoe adapter with a PC sync port on it. Or I can control this flash wirelessly, right? But let me adjust this. This is what I'm going to take to the event. Something like this. And yes, it is TTL, but you have to use the Godox trigger. So if you go to, so you have to use I would recommend the smallest trigger they have, this X3. But yeah, then you can do TTL, no problem. So I'll tighten this side. Man, trust me, you will be the hit of the party if you have this set up. This is freaking awesome. But I shoot manual 99% of the time, so I think I'll just get a sync adapter because it has a PC sync port on the flash down here, but not on the camera. That was a big oversight in my opinion. They could have just put it right here or here. I don't know. They could have put one on, maybe in the side. Could have done a lot of things with the OM3, right? But that's the main one. That's the main deal breaker for me was the not deal breaker, but main issue I had was no PC sync port. So I have to get an adapter or just use this trigger. Uh, but yeah, I'm excited about that. I did a review on this flash on my channel somewhere, but I'll give you the link, Maurice, to my page here where I have the flash and the triggers. Uh, so this is the page. So here's the X3 trigger that you need to get. This is the Olympus version or OM system version. And then here's the flash down here. This was on sale. This goes on sale like once or twice a year. And it was down to under $200 if I recall. This trigger has not gone on sale yet. Maybe $10 once, but this trigger don't I wouldn't hesitate to buy at this price. Otherwise you're going to be waiting forever if it ever happens. I have these PC sync cords. I need to get the adapter. But all you need is this flash and that. So I'll give you the link to that. Um, there's that. Okay. Um, How many shots? Oh, they claim like 400 something shots. So it is USB-C rechargeable. It doesn't have a swappable battery, unfortunately. So I would bring a power bank with you, and when you get a little break at the event, like you get to eat sometimes at these events, right? You can plug it in and charge it, top it off, or just give it a little extra juice. That is one of the downsides. So if you have a Godox V1 or some other flash, I would bring it just in case, right? But um, I've I've done events for a couple of hours and not had any issues, right? Because I'm not shooting at full power all the time. I'm shooting at like probably typically I'm shooting at like 1/8 or 1/32, 1/16 in that range, and it'll go all day probably at those kind of power levels. But if you're going to be shooting full power all the time, yeah, that could be an issue. But I shot 2 3 hour events with this without any problem. And I would have thought they included a little extension cord for the hot shoe. Uh, that would have been nice, but at least it has a PC sync port in the flash. I just don't have the hot shoe adapter. I need the yeah, I need one of these things, right? 12 bucks. I don't need it right away because I have the trigger. I'll just wait for one to go on sale. Let's see if there's any on sale. Nope, nothing. Yeah, nothing's on sale. So I can get this generic one or I can get this JJC generic. Why has this got extra pins on it though? It's not, you gotta be careful. You don't want to get the wrong pin layout. This is for Canon. This is Nikon. Here's a $10 that has both. It has a optical trigger and a PC sync trigger. And it's 10 bucks. That could be pretty good. I mean, I can't imagine the optical trigger's any good, but this is a Sony version. What's this? This is yeah, I don't know. We think this is the one to get. 10 bucks. And add that to my list. Uh, because I probably won't use the optical trigger, but it'd be nice to have that option in case something you need to solve a problem, right? Like what they're showing some weird solution here, but it could come in handy. Who knows? Okay. Um, my goodness. Hey, Robin, how are you? I see Robin Wong is in here. Hey, Rob, just got home after a shoot. I'm going to do my edits while listening to the stream. Okay, cool. So yeah, I've finished all my shopping and everything. So we're just chit-chatting now. Let's see. Trend is what I've been doing is video, and it's great for that because you can just do the switch and people love it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't do video at my events, but so why did I lose my that's weird. I don't know why the video went out. Uh, I just push the record button if I want to do some quick video. Let's see. Oh, any other questions or anything you guys shopping for? I know Shree's usually here. He was looking for a GH6. Again, GH6s I'm seeing for under $1,000 on eBay, in the high 900s. So, but I was thinking because he wanted to get a GH6 because it's compatible with some astrophotography things. Uh, I feel like if you're going to spend 900 and some dollars, and then God knows, what lens you're going to use with it, but it's almost cheaper to buy a dedicated astrophotography setup rather than trying to piece together a camera system to do astrophotography, right? Because I think what Sri was trying to do is set up a tracker that's compatible with, uh, Panasonic, because there's not too many trackers compatible with OM systems, and program everything to do the tracking. But uh, I think for that kind of money, you're almost better off buying a dedicated astrophotography setup and getting a telescope and tracker, and because you can only do so much with a camera and lens. I mean, you can do a lot. You can do a lot, but it's just a ton of overhead doing it that way versus saying just getting a dedicated astrophotography setup from the start. At least that's my opinion. Because I've seen what Ben can do with his setup versus otherwise Ben would be using, his cameras instead of buying dedicated astrophotography cameras, dedicated astrophotography lenses, dedicated astrophotography software. A lot of times the software is built into the camera and you just plug it into your computer. I mean, it's so much better to because you can buy the cameras for well under $1,000, and you can buy the lenses, dedicated telescope lenses with a lot more reach uh, for less, and it's not going to have some of the issues that you run into with standard photography lenses. You know, um, I can't remember what they are off the top of my head, but there's a reason people use dedicated setups for astrophotography rather than trying to rig out a whole really nice astro setup with a regular consumer camera. You can do a lot more with the dedicated camera for less money. So next time I see you, Shri, we'll talk about that a little bit. Okay. Well, pretty quiet. Maybe we'll make this a short stream. I don't see any other questions here, and I'll just talk about maybe a couple of pictures I took. Let me see if I can find them that I did yesterday. Just at home. Oh, I was practicing infrared again. So, uh, this is a Olympus camera converted to infrared. I'm having trouble. This is just my backyard. I'm having trouble processing and getting a decent image quality. And if I convert this to black and white, it looks pretty good actually. But I can get a decent look out of this with black and white. But then it almost looks like any other black and white picture. Not that my backyard is a good test subject. But here's another one I did. This one I shot with the Canon using an infrared filter. I only use the Canon because that's the filter. The filter that I have fits that lens perfectly, and I couldn't find my adapter to adapt it to my Olympus lens step ring. So I found my step ring today, this morning when I was looking for it, but I couldn't find it yesterday when I was doing this testing. So yeah, I'm trying to experiment a little bit with infrared photography again. I haven't done it in years, but I'm struggling a bit with the post processing and making it look like making it look halfway decent. The challenge with infrared photography is the when you use the infrared filters, like these are my filters, right? Is your shutter speeds go to 15, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and you're still like at ISO 5000 with these infrared filters. So that causes a lot of problems with motion blur. Even if you're on a tripod, the trees and whatever landscape, a lot of stuff moves in 30 seconds. A lot of stuff moves in fractions of a second, right? But that's the only challenge I'm having versus, say, a dedicated infrared converted camera. You don't have to worry about that. You can use the same shutter speed you would as if it was a regular camera. So daylight, you'd be like a 1/2000th of a second. But uh, still, and the quality of these infrared filters are questionable. These are newer lenses. I have four different ones. I have a 720 nanometer all the way up to 950. And the higher you go, the more contrast you get, basically. But the lower numbers are better for doing color infrared type photography. The higher numbers are better for doing black and white. Just the rule of thumb, you know. But 720, 760, those are two very common infrared filters that you get for color, more color type infrared. And then you go to the 850, that's very popular with black and white. Then the 950s uh, are just a little more contrast, but man, your shutter speeds go way up, way up to like 30 seconds or longer. And then that causes its own problems with landscape. So I use lifetime for infrared. Is this your method? Oh, that's interesting. I'll have to try that, Peter. Are you using filters though? Or did you convert an Olympus camera? If you use filters, the problem with lifetime, you get, I'll have to try it. I guess lifetime would work as well as uh, I was using bulb mode on the Canon, but I found my step ring. So I'm going to try these filters on my Olympus camera using lifetime. Like I said, I haven't done it in a while, but that's a good idea. Because someone in the photo club yesterday shot some infrared images, and I was like, man, I need to get back into that. Those are so cool. Yeah, so you're using filters too, right? So you end up being like 30 seconds or more on these. And the Great Vanzini says, glad you mentioned that filter. I was thinking of buying one, but not for 30-second shots. Yeah, yeah, you're gonna be hurting on your shutter speed with these. Because it's like a 10 stop ND filter or higher, more than 10 stop. Probably shoot the sun with these. But you can buy infrared converted cameras on eBay pretty cheap, actually. Much, for less than if you were to convert a camera that you already have in a lot of cases. Because if you buy a converted camera from them directly, I forget the name of the company that does that. They're pretty expensive, but they sell on eBay used for half what you would buy one directly from the company that does the conversions. And the one that I got was given to me by one of my viewers many years ago that he did it himself. He took the camera apart, pulled the infrared filter off, and put it back together. And I've only used it a couple of times in those many years. But I'm gonna have to play around a little bit now that summer's back because I should have done it every summer. Summer's the best time to do infrared. Okay, and these filters aren't cheap. I think these are cheap filters. That's why the quality is kind of a little bit suspect. I'm gonna have to experiment a little bit with these, and if I get into it, then I'll buy a good filter. But if I can't get into it, for whatever reason. Because if I can't get into the workflow to, because I can always get sharper images with a better filter, but if I can't get the images I want to begin with, and get a workflow down that makes sense, then I may never buy a good infrared filter. I'll just use these time to time. And Robin says, I bought a 5-star. Okay, I'm familiar with that. The 500 millimeter lens for $15. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. That's one of those mirror lenses. Yeah, filters need, okay. But lifetime for, where's my, yeah, here it is. So if I put this on my, this is the 720 nanometer filter. This will fit onto my 12 to 40 Pro, and we'll see how this comes out. I'll try lifetime today. And if I get some decent images, I'll go in my backyard. I'm going to go out to Huntley Meadows or somewhere more interesting. Cityscapes are really interesting too, using this. Doing long exposure photography in the city, that's infrared. I've done that a few times. It's pretty cool. And you get some really interesting effects, of course, with long exposure. If there's clouds, right? You get that smearing and of the clouds. So you get this very painterly look in the background with the clouds, and then you get this really surreal look in the foreground. Whether it's black and white or color, it's very surreal when you do infrared photography. Okay. That looks like that's it. So, if there are no other questions, you guys have a great rest of your week. I will be back on Thursday, I'm sorry, Friday for my photo editing live stream. And then next week, Sunday, just a regular live stream, I think. And, oh, Robin says, the 5-star isn't a mirror lens, it's more like a telescope lens sold under various brands. Okay, interesting. I'm sorry, before I go, let me look at that. I thought it was a mirror lens. Oh, this thing. Okay, so telephoto camera lens. Interesting. I've seen this before. I didn't realize they were this cheap though. Man, that's tempting. How's that working out though? And then Murray says, can you also give us a link for that case of the OM3 with grip? That'd be perfect for me. Oh, okay. Yeah, let me do that. Uh, where is it? It's way down in here. Oops. Well, I assume you mean the half case. So let me just give you a generic link to all of them. So this is my eBay affiliate link. That will take you to this page here. And oops, this page. This is the one that I bought. So I'll give you the direct link to this one. You just have to select your color. So So that one is for the OM3 grip that I bought, but the other link is kinda to all of them because 'cause I'm not sure which one you want. Do you want the wooden grip one? Do you want the half leather case one? That kinda thing. Oh, okay, that'll be cool, Robin. Yeah, just email me or submit it to my photo editing live stream. That would be kinda interesting. Okay. So, yeah, I'm gonna call it here. So thanks again for coming in. I'll see you guys again soon. Go out and take some photos, submit them in for Friday's live stream, and, thanks for checking in, Robin. Always good to see you, Robin Wong, that is. But thanks everyone for being here with me today and supporting me through my affiliate links. It's greatly appreciated. I'm upside down. Whoa. How do you end the stream? Oh, here it is.